Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to talk about some important questions that I have been getting on my channel and I wanted to address them as they are timely. There is some retrogression to EB3 chart on the filing dates chart, and there are a few other questions that the viewers have been asking me from the changes that are anticipated from the Biden administration as well as from the memos that have come in lastly. So if you're interested in knowing the answers to these questions, stick around until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or my channel is for information purpose only. For your specific immigration need, you should hire a competent immigration attorney. As you can see on the bottom of my channel, you will see some merchandise. YouTube allows me to display this merchandise on my channel. If you buy one of these cool t-shirts or one of these coffee mugs, that will help my channel. So take a look at this merchandise and see if you like it. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Now let's get started. Now as per my previous video and as you saw in the latest visa bulletin for December 2020, you must have found the dates for EB1 have progressed, the dates for EB2 has progressed also a little bit, but the dates for EB3, although in the final action chart they are progressed a little bit, in the filing dates chart the dates have retrogressed by 1 full year. So from January of 2015 to January of 2014, so by 1 full year. So what this means is USCIS has probably received enough applications for EB3, although not so enough that they want to close the window, but they want to kind of shorten the window. So they have reduced the time frame. So basically they have shortened the duration during which you can file for your adjustment of status. And this is clearly because of the lot of EB2 to EB3 downgrades that are happening. I anticipate that as USCIS gets more and more applications, as these 140s get processed for EB3 and they get these receipt notices issued for I-485, they will know the exact number and this window will shorten even further. So I will not be surprised if the priority date in the filing date chart for EB3 retrogresses even more to say 2013 or even 2012. So the first question, does it impact immediately? So no, the visa bulletin for December takes effect on 1st of December. So you still have a window of opportunity if you haven't already filed your petition for downgrade and 485 to file it now, latest until November 30th. So remember, USCIS needs to receive the petition before or on November 30th. If they receive it after November 30th, they will not be considered under the November visa bulletin. It will be considered in the December visa bulletin, and depending on your priority date, it will be processed. Now the next question that I get is, can I change my job while my downgrade application is in progress? So say for instance you have your EB2 approved and your date as per the EB3 filing dates chart is current. Now through your current job, your lawyer has applied for your downgrade petition, which is I-140 for EB3, and also because your priority date is current, they have also applied for your I-485, and now you want to change your job. This is very critical. You might want to think twice before changing the job. Two things will happen. First thing is, if you change the job now, the new employer will have to refile your 140 and 485. So that is one expense. So you have already paid for your 485 once with your current employer and you will be paying it twice. If that's not a big deal, the second thing to consider is your current employer's I-140 has not been approved yet. You will still have your EB2 I-140 approval, so that will always stay with you, but your EB3 I-140 has not been approved yet. So your 485 technically is not existent because they don't touch your 485 until your 140 is approved. So if you change your employer, you will have to file your 140 and 485 together again. Now the good thing is you will be able to withdraw your I-485 from your previous employer and resubmit your 140 and 485 package. Depending on what your priority date is, you may not have that window of opportunity because EB3 priority date in the final filing date chart has retrogress. So this is the scenario to carefully consider. I would highly recommend that you wait until 6 months have passed since you apply for your I-485 and then change with AC21 rule rather than changing it before. But that is just my opinion. Talk to your lawyer what is the best case scenario for you. Other question that I get is what is likely to happen under Biden administration. Now you should watch my videos that I have made previously and I will link them here somewhere. In my opinion, the focus of the Biden administration is going to be family-based migration. Anything that they are going to do in their first initial couple of months is going to be focused on family migration. Business immigration such as employment-based immigration is not their priority. As far as I can tell you, they have no interest in changing any rules from the current administration regarding the employment-based immigration. So don't expect any miracles to happen when the Biden administration takes over. You must be reading a lot of news and a lot of articles saying because of the change in administration, this is good for immigration. Yes, it is good for family-based immigration, not so much for employment-based immigration. Yes, there are some things that are going to change, such as the travel ban will be lifted, some other quick things that may happen, but not any material change employment-based immigration. Even the H-1B prevailing wage perm fees are going to increase and they will stay increased. There is no appetite for the new administration to revisit that through the regulatory process immediately. They may do so well in the future, but I don't see that happening immediately. Another question is, my priority date is 2016, 17, 18 or later. I am from India and my dates are not current. How long will it take? Now nobody can tell you that. From what I can tell you, unless there is a change in the law, two things have to change. One, there has to be increase in the employment based visa numbers for the backlog to reduce. That is plain and simple. Every year we get a lot more immigrants joining the pool and there are not as many green cards. The second thing that needs to change is the per country cap. So both of these have to go through the Congress. President cannot do it by himself. Unless these two things change, nothing is going to change in the backlog. It's a simple math. There are more people coming into the pool than there are visa numbers available every year. So backlog is continuously going to increase. So if your priority date is 2015 or later in EB2 or EB3 category, you are out of luck. You will have a long wait time, at least a decade, to get your green card. Unless these two things change, there is not going to be any relief to the backlog. If anything, it will get worse and worse. So should I move to Canada? That is your choice. I have made a lot of videos on Canada immigration and I believe that Canada is a fantastic country to move to. Canadian immigration system is very streamlined and straightforward. They are welcoming immigrants. There are lots of job opportunities if you have the right channel. There are a couple of things that you need to consider and I have made a couple of videos that you might want to check out. But some of the most important things that you want to consider is whether your current employer will allow you to work from Canada on the same job that you are doing. There are a lot of companies that are allowing their employees to work from Canada because of the visa issues in the United States. And if you are working for one of those companies, then you are in luck. You can go to Canada, you can obtain your PR and citizenship in few years, and you can get settled in Canada quite well even before your green card comes in. Canadian economy is smaller than the US, the number of jobs are smaller. So there are a lot of factors to consider before making this move. But let me tell you, if it works out for you, it is a great opportunity. It is a great country and people who have gone there, a lot of people who I know who have gone to Canada and immigrated to Canada have stayed there forever. There is another question that says, what if my priority date is current but I am in India or my home country? So there are two things. If you are still working for the employer that had filed your I-140, then you can go ahead with your consular processing. There is an option when you file your I-140 to opt for either consular processing or I-485. If you had selected I-485, you can still go through a lawyer, change it to consular processing. Your file will be sent to a consulate and you can go from there. Now second case is, which is very common, You are no longer working for the US employer. You are working for an employer in India or wherever you are, and your priority date is current. Now in this case, the premise of your baseline application was that you have a bona fide job offer from a US employer. So if you can get that job offer from the company that filed for your 140 or some other company which has a job that is similar to the job description that was mentioned in your I-140, then yes, you can file for your consular processing and go ahead with your final stage of green card. So hope that explains. Now there were two other videos that I made recently regarding the policy memos that have come in. It has made the process a little bit difficult for adjustment of status as well as for citizenship. Not many major rules have changed, but what has changed is they are now reminding the visa officers of certain rules and certain plus points and minus points to consider while adjudicating your I-485 or adjustment of status. You might want to check those videos out. I have posted them recently and they are very important if you are in this process. The citizenship test has also changed. They have changed from 10 questions to 20 questions. Although the passing remains same, the number of questions have doubled. So that is another change that has come through the policy memo. I don't think any of these rules are going to be reverted by the new administration. It is just an enforcement rule through USCIS or DHS, and I don't think the new administration has any intention to change or revert these rules back. So these were some of the important questions that I wanted to kind of answer. If there are still any other burning questions regarding adjustment of status, EB category visas, or any other questions that you may have, please put them in the comments section or send them to me by email and I will try to address them in my next video. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so because I will be making few more videos on important questions that need to be answered. I'll also be making some timeless videos that will be useful for new immigrants. So feel free to subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in the next one.